Uh, Good evening, everyone. Just want to give a quick update. The Zoom is connected. However, the TVs, I'm locked out of the Zoom account for my laptop, so I can't connect to the TVs just yet. But in 30 minutes, I'll be able to do it. But as the meeting is going on, so just want to let everybody know for transparency purposes. But we're on Zoom and on YouTube.
So what?
Can you just turn this on?
I mean
Do we, Bob, do we have quorum? We have Tim on Zoom.
team.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have quorum.
Okay.
What about Rashid?
I don't know. He didn't tell me anything.
We have 5 here. I was going to text her. She
Okay.
says.
He didn't say anything.
Okay, why don't you
You can start.
start?
Yeah, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the.
You can keep going, man.
Oh,
Go, keep going.
okay. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Inglewood Cliffs Mayor and Council. Today is July 8th, 2026. Now time is 6:33. I'll call this meeting to order. Okay, all please stand up for the flag salute. I
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we continue, I would like to take a moment to recognize the passing of Charles Minetti. Charlie was the beloved father of Inglewood Cliffs Police Office Christophe Minetti and the DPW mechanic Corey Minetti. He and his wife Lynn were longtime member of our Inglewood Cliffs community, and their family has continued to serve this borough with dedication. On behalf of Mayor and Council, we extend our heartfelt condolences to Chris, Corey, and Lynn, and the entire Minetti's family during this difficult time. Please join me in a moment of silence in Charlie's memory. Okay, thank you, everyone. And would you read the open public statement, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act PL 1975, Chapter 23, setting forth the time, date, and place and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the Star Ledger, the Record, and the Herald News on January 5th, 2026, and published on January 9, 2026, posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. Copies of the above mentioned notice are available to the public and on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Bigatz?
Yes.
Councilman Liang?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis?
Here.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
And Councilman Katrubis.
Here.
And for the record, Mayor Mark Park, the borough CFO, the borough attorney, borough auditor, myself as the borough administrator, and DPW superintendent department heads are all present.
Okay, thank you. For the public information, we are currently holding tonight's meeting in a hybrid format. We have people in person and via Zoom. That is also live stream on YouTube. Not right now, right?
No, we are
No,
live streaming on YouTube. I'm waiting to connect to the TV.
Okay, if our Wi-Fi at the council chambers has an issue where the Zoom meeting drops, we will aim to retrieve the connection to continue the meeting. Okay, let's move on to the next agenda, oath of appointment. Okay, why don't you? Yeah.
Under oaths and appointments, we have resolution number 2026-172, resolution appointing Casey Kimmel as temporary deputy municipal clerk to serve during the authorized leave of municipal clerk Beauty Nadeem. We need a motion and second to approve resolution number 2026-172.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Begats, second by Councilman Liang. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and then motion.
Then we have resolution number 2026-173 under oaths and appointments. Resolution amending resolution number 2026-101, appointing Richard Hess as a part-time fire subcode official and fire inspector at an annual salary of $25,000. For folks that are in the public, this resolution is a previously adopted resolution in which the Division of Fire Safety, the Department of Community Affairs for the state of New Jersey just requested a clerical change to make it a 4-year appointment. And with that being said, it's just that clerical change on this resolution. So we need a motion and second to adopt resolution number 2026-173.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, second by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes. On resolution number 2026-174, we have a resolution amending resolution number 2026-152, resolution appointing summer camp directors and counselors. We had a couple resignations, or actually 5 resignations, and 5 additions. That's pretty much it. Motion to approve resolution number 2026-174.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsakis, second by Councilwoman Begats and Councilman Patel. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next up, we have resolution number 2026-175, resolution accepting the retirement of Lieutenant Stephen Kochis Jr. from the Englewood Cliffs Police Department. We need a motion second to adopt and approve resolution number 2026-175.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsakis, second by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes, and I wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes. On resolution number 2026-176, under oaths and appointments, we have a resolution accepting the resignation of Robert Gansel as full-time laborer for the Department of Public Works. We need a motion second to approve this resolution number 2026-176.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Kapsakis and Councilman Patel, seconded by, we need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next resolution we have is resolution number 2026-177, resolution appointing Edward Brockington as full-time laborer for the Department of Public Works. We need a motion second to approve resolution number 2026-177.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Begats, second by Councilman Kapsakis. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes. On resolution number 2026-178, we have a resolution accepting the resignation of Jordan Perez as part-time laborer for the Department of Public Works. Can I have a motion second to approve resolution number 2026-178?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Begats and Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Liang. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsakis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes, and I wish him well.
Motion passes. Resolution number, last resolution under oaths and appointments, resolution number 2026-179. We have a resolution appointing Gabriel Mena as part-time laborer for the Department of Public Works. Can I have a motion second to approve resolution number 2026-179?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Begats, second by Councilman Patel. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes, best of luck to him. Thank you.
Motion passes. All right. And that is all, Mayor. You can take the floor back.
Okay, thank you. No correspondence and no proclamation. Okay, next agenda is presentation. At this time, we will recognize Jared Liu for his assistance in improving the senior center and for his outstanding achievement in attending the rank of Eagle Scout. On behalf of the mayor and council, congratulations, Jared, and thank you for your service to our community. Why don't you come out? We're going to issue about this certification.
Yep. Will the mayor and council please join the mayor on the floor to recognize Jared for his extraordinary achievement attaining Eagle Scout, and we thank you for your services in assisting the senior center. And then we'll have a photo with the parents and the family to join thereafter. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, now we'll have the family join. For your phone. You guys can stay in there. So the mayor and council can stay there.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna do Mr. Liu's phone first. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Keep those weddings up. I actually performed one.
And the next, our CFO and the board auditor will present the 2025 municipal audit and review the corrective action plan. Please process it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. The 25 municipal audit was completed by actually the old due date, which was prior to June 30th. This year they extended the date permanently to August 31. So, key note that your audit was received timely under the old deadline and obviously under the new deadline. Last year you didn't receive it till, I believe, October, which was an issue when you receive an audit that late, that you don't have sufficient time to act on anything that the auditor presents as a recommendation in order to remediate it prior to year end. Just as a background, the 24 audit had 25 audit recommendations and 4 qualifications to the independent auditor's report. The borough made significant strides in cleaning up or remediating a lot of the issues. There are 14 repeat recommendations out of the 25. So a good amount were cleared up. The independent auditor's report this year is unmodified versus 4 qualifications you received last time. They included one that you hadn't had some responses from one of the law firms, so they couldn't confirm outstanding litigation. We did receive all the letters from the various firms that the borough currently employs as legal advice. The second qualification had to do with your length of service award program, which was included as unaudited information, which is acceptable, but if you include that in the audit, you'd have to qualify it. Our firm's position is you don't have to include it, but we do issue a separate review report. So by not including it, we remove the qualification in the audit report, but still give you a separate sidebar report. Two other issues had to do with general ledger maintenance and bank reconciliation completion. The other auditor took the position that they should qualify your audit report for them. Our position at PKF O'Connor Davies is that we satisfied ourselves with respect to the balances in the various funds and to the bank reconciliations once they were audited. So there was no need to qualify the opinion for those because we're saying the financial statements are fairly presented. So we basically eliminated all the qualifications to the independent auditor's report, working with administration and working with your CFO and doing our due diligence and respective audit procedures to get to that point. And from the standpoint of the rating agencies and other third-party agencies, to have a unqualified opinion, I think is significant now with respect to the borough's financial position. And then with respect, like I said, to the recommendations, there's still two material weaknesses that have to be worked on regarding general ledger maintenance and bank reconciliation preparations, but those are processes that we're commenting on. We're not implicating that the financial statements are misstated because of them, which the other auditor did. So basically, there's 14 recommendations. I don't know if you want me to discuss them individually. We did have a 2-hour, I believe, finance committee meeting a week or so ago with the finance committee and my staff and team, and we went over them, and we're looking forward to moving forward and correcting the remaining. Keep in mind that you really only had 3 months to act last year to clear them, which I said it was a small window of time. So now that you have your audit at this point, you have a half a year left. Hopefully, the proper work and actions can be taken by administration, by finance, and possibly by the governing body to assist in eliminating these recommendations and getting basically a clean bill of health, hopefully at the next audit, which will be 6 months from now or so. So I don't know if anybody has any specific questions. I'd be more than happy to.
Okay, thank you. Finance Chair, Mr.
Yeah, we,
you're going to add on something?
Thank you so much. This year we did it effectively, efficiently, compared with last year. And the overall control environment has improved quite a bit. And we, of course, we have a couple of issues we need to resolve. That we're on the way. We provided resolutions, so we have some time expectations, and we can take care of that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to add on? Yeah. Yes, Councilwoman Rebecca, please.
Thank you. I just want to note that the process that we had with the Finance Committee was very thorough. The first time that I'm sitting on an audit like that, line by line, item by item, we discussed everything, and thank you very much for explaining it to us and what's to be done. And I think the town is in good shape, and we definitely would fix any line that was out of the ordinary or was noted, and some of them were carried from years ago. Hopefully that next year we're gonna be A1. And thank you very much for the process.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I think nobody has a question. We don't need to the public comment right at this moment. So at this moment we are not going to allow the public comments. Later on we can add on. So until public comment session, please stay over there to gentlemen, please. Okay, now department head report. I'm going to start each department. Okay, first of all, administration department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the public. Thank you for joining us. This evening, I would like to provide several updates regarding ongoing borough initiatives and a few important items appearing on tonight's agenda. First things first, as far as infrastructure improvements, Our borough-wide resurfacing program continues to move forward on schedule. You'll hear more about it from our borough engineers. Residents are continuing to see milling and paving, some concrete work, minor concrete work earlier throughout the various neighborhoods in our community. And we're going to continue working through the summer. We do appreciate everyone's patience and, especially during the temporary traffic impacts, but we do see a lot of minimal disruption, especially given the fact that school is no longer in session. And also, we will later go out to bid for Lowry Drive resurfacing, and once we get the clearance from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. And on the agenda this evening, because the state operates on a fiscal year, the new grant cycle has begun for new DOT projects. So we already on this agenda, you see a resolution for East Bayview Avenue for New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2027, in which the engineers can talk about, as well as that other portion of Summit Street for fiscal year 2026, as they're wrapping up a pool of funding for local aid. It's like a leftover pool of funding. If they had money left over, they can issue it to communities that they have some additional work to be done. The engineers will also talk about that. Additionally, later this week, we will hold our pre-construction meeting with National Water Main, the contractor that was awarded the borough-wide sanitary sewer improvement project. We are anticipating beginning the project with a groundbreaking shortly thereafter, which actually represents another significant investment in our critical underground infrastructure that we've been talking about for some time now. So this is our way of basically adding a little bit more of a life cycle to our sanitary sewer system through cleaning, inspection, rehabilitation, and preventative maintenance before further failures occur. Our engineers will talk a little bit about that as they continue. On municipal technology and records modernization, on the agenda before you, members of the mayor and council, we have a significant resolution to authorize digitization and indexing of borough records. It's simply just scanning paper documents. Many residents know the borough adopted a capital improvement fund, bond ordinance number 2025-10, to basically we view municipal records the same way we view infrastructure, roads, water, and sewer. And small communities, when you don't have resources or personnel to your disposal and everybody has their own mechanism behind filing and things of that nature to offer long-term stability, leaning into technology is often a solution to basically duplicate our resources and make that a force multiplier. So in the event that it does get approved tonight, or for introduction for resolution to award this contract that was procured through ESCNJ Co-op, we would take our historical records across multiple departments, beginning with the building department and tax assessors department, and basically professionally prepare them, scan them, index them, quality check them, run what's called OCR scanning that has keyword search, so we'll be able to locate our files right away. In the case of the building department, it'll be organized by block and lot, and it'll be a searchable digital format stored on the cloud in order to make some further capital improvements at our facilities. And it's beyond document preservation. Once these records are digitized, they will integrate into the borough's Keystone Unified Land Records platform. It's going to create a parcel-based digital ecosystem where departments can securely share information that historically existed in separate systems. What do I mean by that? The assessor operates on a system called microsystems. The building department uses SDL. So when you fill out a permit and what have you, automatically the tax assessor and their software microsystems are going to know about it right away. So it creates that ecosystem, that fluidity that we're looking for in municipal government. In practical terms, like I said, imagine a homeowner receives a building permit and they're trying to do a significant improvement. Instead of relying on a manual process across departments that creates delays for things like added assessments, department records and permits, inspections, and property information automatically go to the assessor. So this is kind of to basically make us a little bit more efficient in our operation. That's our objective here in the event that it's approved. And I'm sure the council has questions, which I'll be more than happy to answer. You already heard from our CFO and our auditor about our audit. Our audit went down from 25 comments to 14 comments, so that's showing significant improvement. We are the administration, the governing body, as well as finance. We're committed to get it to single digits by next year and eventually get it to zero. So the borough started from a very high point. There was a lot of areas that we've already taken action on. For instance, procurement. You see a lot of items, the way the resolutions are written on the agenda. It wasn't written like that last year. We took that action to basically answer and respond to our comments that we got on purchasing, and that's why we had brought in outsourced QPA to really structure the organization by policy. So we do thank our CFO and our auditor for the work they've done, and we're going to continue to try to decrease those comments. And they will be available to answer specific questions to the members of the public when we get to the public portion. I wanted to also provide a brief update regarding the State Health Benefits Program. Earlier today, the State Health Benefits Program released its preliminary recommended premium increases for 2027. The current recommendations include 17.3% increase for active employees, 36.5% increase for early retirees, and 19.3% increase for Medicare retirees. Of particular concern are these certain plans experiencing substantial larger recommended increases and for the various things that employees might be enrolled in. And the Borough of Englewood Cliffs is a member of the State Health Benefits Program, and we knew based on when the governor took office that the State Health Benefits Program was going to be a challenge for them to come up with an equitable way. That's why on this agenda you see a resolution on the consent agenda. The mayor and council, if approved, will be requesting state officials to come up with ways to mitigate increases and urging the state leaders to come up with a comprehensive solution to ease the heartache for our employees and our overall organization and our taxpayers. As far as grant funding, the borough is continuously pursuing outside funding opportunities. I received a report from our grant writer. In total, out of the about 30 or 40 grand that we paid them out year to date from their contract, which is by project, by application basis, it's not a retainer. The borough has netted $177,000 in grant awards. We have about $4 million that have not been allocated or announced yet or awarded yet. We're waiting to hear. The state is severely behind on awarding a lot of or notifying communities about respective awards that they've applied for. But this is just to show that we've done our fair part using our professionals from our engineers, from our finance people, and utilizing our grant writers, Millennium Strategies, to go out there and try to offset the burden on the taxpayers. So we do thank the mayor and council for the support and the guidance they've provided on a lot of these projects, but we are targeting grant funding as much as we can. Aside from that, I'll let Bob talk about the steel infrastructure purchase for Verizon Wireless regarding our cell tower to maximize the value of ownership of the cell tower. And then our fire chief will talk a little bit about the fire prevention ordinance that's on the agenda, and then the introduction of a formal handicap permit parking process. Right now in our current code, somebody could come in and ask for a handicap parking space. Even though we have a very few in town, we really don't have a process. So it's to take what the state required state documents are needed, having that formal application process and a formal renewal process. So we're able to issue the spaces the right way, similar to many other towns in our community. And then we have an introduction of a no-knock registry ordinance in which Bob can touch base on as well. And to that extent, Mayor, that is the extent of my report.
Well done. Okay, thank you for your presentation, Bob.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, okay.
So, with regard to the resolution for the cell tower this evening, the cell tower, although we own the ground rights, the cell tower structure itself is actually owned by Verizon. And we've had discussions with Verizon about their willingness to convey that back to the borough. They are willing to do it for they pay a rent. They're willing to do it for if we forego 2 months rent and pay about I think it's $3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 legal.
How much?
fee. 3,000.
$3,000 for the legal work that's necessary for the transfer to the borough, which essentially raises the value of that tower to the borough. And as you know from prior meetings, the borough is investigating the
Value.
value to the borough of selling that tower or maintaining it. So this would be add value to the tower. So for the borough. With regard to the ordinances that are on the agenda, the one that the administrator did not comment on was the no-knock ordinance. No-knock ordinance essentially creates a list that's maintained by the clerk. So anyone who wants to come into town to solicit work and go door to door to try to sell a service or goods, they would have to get this list, and anybody who does not want to be bothered can have their name put on the list, and these people who come in cannot knock on those doors. There are exceptions for political candidates, for religious and charitable institutions, and for people who are coming just to deliver things that were already ordered by the homeowner or the tenant. The other item to report on is the continuing application of CFI at the corner of Sylvan and Bayview. I can tell you that since the hearings were closed on that matter, we did have a conference with Judge Gallipoli. Judge Gallipoli has expressed a concern about the application in several regards. Mainly, he believes that the inclusion of 5th Street in the application is something that the applicant should consider to provide another egress in the future. He also believes that the entrance and exit on Sylvan should be changed to 3 lanes, 2 exiting, 1 going north, 1 going south, and 1 coming in for people coming north. That, of course, if is approved or adopted, would require DOT approval. He also said that in order to accomplish these things, you're going to need to increase the parking and decrease the parking requirement, and to do this you would have to decrease the commercial space. So Judge Gallipoli is talking to everyone about decreasing the space as low as 5. Is it 50,000 or 5,000? I'm not trying to remember the square footage, but to substantially 5. No, 5 to 5,000 square feet, and to make some other minor adjustments to the plan. So the applicant will be responding to that those comments by Judge Gallipoli, I think this next week, and then we have, I think, 2 weeks to respond to those comments from the applicant. And that's the extent of my report, Mayor.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay.
I understand that the Judge Gallipoli want them to have an exit to 5th Street, correct?
Yes.
Now, having an exit to 5th Street, will they be included in pavement of 5th Street and paying the share like any other homeowner on 5th Street?
Yes, and the criteria that is applied to the allocation of the cost would include them as well,
Thank you.
should that be the case. Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I have one question, please, Mayor,
Okay,
for Bob, if it's okay.
Yes.
The allocation of the cost, Bob, for the applicant and the residents, does that go by the volume of the traffic, or does that go by the space itself?
Space.
It goes by the value of the improvement to the property owner, and somewhat based upon the extent of their
Exposure.
the extent of their property that abuts the 5th Street. So.
I see.
And
Okay,
the use,
thank you very much.
The use of that, and the use of 5th Street to their property. to their value.
Right. So the volume, is it fair to say that the volume of the traffic would affect that cost?
No.
I don't think so, but that's something we haven't looked at what the allocation would be yet. We're not at that point, but we would look into all the factors to try to have the most equitable and
Please do. Thank
legal
you.
arrangement.
Thank you.
Okay, next, our engineer.
Hello, good
Yes.
evening, Mayor and Council. This is my update for today. So, first of all, municipal aid 2024, Floyd Street. So, DNL is supposed to start around the third week of this month. So, in a couple of weeks, they should be starting finally doing the work on Floyd Street. Concrete first, and then after that, the milling and paving. The Lorry Drive, like was mentioned before, is in review. NGA DOT. Probably will call them tomorrow and find out where we stand with that. 2026 roadway is most of you probably noticed, if all of you noticed, that it's progressing. It's almost finished. Should be done by the end of this week. We had to alternate some of the street, so we'll have access to some of the properties in between those streets, so we couldn't mill everything in one time and pave everything in one time, so we kind of skipped some of the street for that. The sewer line, we have the recon meeting scheduled for tomorrow for the phase 1 project, and then the work will start shortly after that for that sewer, that big project. Engineering department reviewed 4 construction plans and inspected 2 sewage pits this month. We're working on the grant application for Municipal Aid 27, the East Bayview Avenue, and then also we're working on the LAIF 26 for Summit Street from Van Nostrand Avenue to Mercer Avenue. And this is all my report for today.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And next, our
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Can you please give us an update in terms of the water pressure up there by the facilities at the park, Johnson Field?
Okay. Yeah. So on that one, Mark is dealing with that with Veolia directly to find out what's going on with that water pressure in the park. So I guess. Do you have any more information on that, or that's
Ralph, you said you had an update on that from a couple days ago that we think we might.
Do we want to leave it for the DPW report, or you can answer now?
Yeah, so currently with the water pressure up at the park right now, we were told that there was a water pressure issue coming in from the street. We found out that was not accurate. So now we're working with the plumber. There's a little gap in between the 2 bathrooms that we actually walk through. There's a couple of regulators that control the water flow, and they believe that those are now failing. So I'm just waiting on a time and a date for the contractor to come back up to so we can get back there. It's not an easy task, so we got to remove all of the refrigerators out of the way, and then the guy's got to crawl down in there. We need a lot of lighting. So he's just waiting on him to come up with the parts and to take care of this situation, and hopefully that will remedy the water issue that we're having in that building.
So it's nothing to do with Leonia.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing to do with Leonia.
Veolia.
As of right now, the only thing we are going to do is we are asking Veolia to come back to do what they call like a sonar test, to make sure that there are no leaks on our end under the ground, going from the street into the park as well. We don't have any indications of that, but sometimes that could be something as well. So those are 2 things that we do have that could potentially be causing the water flow issue.
Follow-up question, please. If the regulators are remedied, will that affect the water fountains?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
The concern is as well as the bathrooms. Okay, they're not operable at this point, so we please just do whatever you can to, especially now that it's summertime, do whatever you can to remedy the situation. Thank you very much. I appreciate your input.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, CFO. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Few items on the agenda. 2 items dealing with the audit. 1 to accept the audit officially. Second is to accept the corrective action plan. Both were discussed earlier by the auditor. The next 2 set of resolutions have to do with the budget. One is a slight amendment, as it was mentioned at the last meeting. The state is requiring us to move a small amount, $533, from deferred charge into another line item, which we decided to move into Social Security. It does not have any impact on the overall budget and or the tax increase. Once that amendment is passed, and it's a minor amendment which does not require another public hearing, we should be able to adopt the amended budget as listed on the agenda. On a separate note, the estimated tax bills that were authorized at the last meeting are in the process of being mailed out. The tax collector advises me they should go to the post office by Monday. The law requires you to provide a 25-day grace period, which falls within the August 10th deadline, so there will be no need for any additional extension to the due date. Thank you.
Anybody? Any discussion? No. Question? Okay, thank you. Now, next, police and OEM, you are together to do that? Okay. James Tracy, thank you for your hard working, and I already forwarded to you. One resident, appreciate. Our police department did a great job on Summit Street. I really appreciate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. I think, Chief, can you just move the mic to the center?
The little pamphlet I'm handing out is just statistics for June. Nothing uber important, but just the numbers that you guys usually get. And I've added a couple of new spreadsheets in there. That is a continued work in progress. So it looks different than previous reports from Chief Henkelman. And I'll say again, if there's anything that you want to see in these monthly reports, just let me know. So rather than having the sheet that tells you we responded to 300 burglar alarms in a month, which I felt is not all that important. There's the stats of arrest reports, how many people we arrested over the month, which I feel is much more important, as well as a breakdown of the calls. So if there's 3,000 calls a month, how many of those were in each of the categories? There's 30 or so categories there, and I can narrow those down as much as you want or leave them as is. So just any feedback with that would be great. As everyone knows, FIFA is underway, and Sale 250 was completed over the weekend for the holiday. And for months and months, we've been hearing how it was going to be complete chaos. There was going to be traffic, bumper to bumper, all over the place, people walking on the Palisades Parkway. And I kind of said, I don't think any of that's going to happen. It didn't. We did just fine, as did all the other towns in the area. I don't think there was any impact whatsoever on us. Like, I don't even think there was an increase in traffic, which is all great. And if anybody saw the boats come up the river, that was a pretty neat experience. Staffing at the police department. One of the things I noticed for maybe the borough attorney can opine on this. When I read the hiring for the police department, doesn't appear to be any option to go to a directly certified officer, like a lateral transfer. It seems like we have this 4 or 5 page process that we have to use that we might want to look at. Because if you just want to hire somebody quick, it doesn't seem like we can, unless I'm missing something. There might be another ordinance somewhere, but it's a pretty in-depth process that is probably 2 months long at best. And why I bring that up is we do have Lieutenant Conscious announcing his retirement, which hopefully that'll be something for you guys to consider and approve tonight. So at some point we'll have to address that, talk about it. I'll give you my reasons and articulate why we need to do what we need to do. You'll see. I got the compliments, and as the mayor said before, for the increase in traffic enforcement, more of a presence out there.
Yeah.
That's great that we're seeing that. These are just like minor changes. I don't want anybody thinking I've made drastic changes to result in that. These are just minor reassignments, moving people from behind desks, offices, putting them out in patrol cars at least for a couple hours each day, and that's where this is coming from. People are just seeing them more often. The benefits of traffic enforcement are self-explanatory, but there also are the other benefits of just having a police presence out there. If a criminal's driving through a town and he never sees a cop, it becomes a target. If a criminal's driving through a town and he sees cops all over the place, just pulling people over, they avoid it. Every time I drive through that town, there's cops all over the place. So there's multiple benefits to traffic enforcement, not just the traffic element itself, which is why I make that a priority. Any questions with any of the police stuff? Because OEM really doesn't have anything. It kind of duplicates on the FIFA.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you, Lieutenant. So June last month, we have a 45 burglar alarms. Can you give us a little bit more information? Is alarm means one? How many events we have? Probably won't receive a lot of alarms.
So when you're seeing the stats, burglar alarm just means nothing more than the alarm at the house went off. We got called, dispatched cars, and we go and check the alarm. That's why I want to try and start giving you information that's a little bit more valuable than just that, because I'm just going to opine that's really of no use to you as a governing body. How many, whether we went on 40 of them or 80 of them, I don't think is all that important to you. What's important is how many of them were actual burglaries or thefts. That's what you want to know. If somebody was arrested, that's why you have the arrest report there now that shows you how many people were arrested over the month. Not crazy busy, but there was 6 or 7 arrests last month that you don't know about, and I think you should. And I know a lot of it is blacked out because of the confidentiality, but at least you could see the volume of work that the officers are out there doing.
Thank you.
So unfortunately, that doesn't offer you much other than the amount of alarms we went on.
Yeah, sounds like a 45 is quite a bit, a lot.
It's
but actually, it's
and
not.
you could have a month with nothing more than bad storms, rain, thunder, lightning, and that number will be 4 times.
Right. Okay.
We've had months where we've done 300-400 burglar alarms because of storms.
Each time the burglar alarm goes off, the police is going to check it, correct?
Correct.
Did you see some houses or buildings that are constantly the alarm goes off?
Yes, repeat alarms, yes.
And how do you deal with that? They'll have to fix something there.
There is an ordinance on the books. There has been for many years, and don't quote me on the exact numbers, but I believe you get 3 false alarms per year, and then on the 4th alarm, it's a $25 fine, and then the 5th and 6th, I think it's $50. Again, don't quote me on the numbers, but we do have an ordinance in effect where we could issue penalties. That's up to everyone here. It's already on the books. I don't know if I'm in favor of that. That leads to people not setting their alarms rather than fixing it, because this is what we do. If I have an alarm at my house and it keeps going off and it's $500 to fix it with the tech to come out and to fix it, I just don't turn the alarm on. So with that said, and I don't want to discount the value of the ordinance, it's there for a reason. If somebody has a dozen alarms and it's really excessive, we'll address it.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
what
hasn't-
I mean.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't.
mean, we don't want to look at the fines,
Right.
this is minimal, whatever. But just to make the owner to fix the alarm, this is,
Yes.
trying for you to approach them.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Listen, there's a lot of people that don't even know their own code. So the alarm company is actually calling the house to determine if there's an emergency, and they just don't know the code, and that results in a full response from us. And you're 100% right. So it's a waste of resources. It puts the officers at risk. God forbid an officer gets into an accident responding to a false alarm. So anybody, I say like 5 or 6 per year. Then we try and talk to somebody and we say, hey, you got to get this fixed, address it. That's always been what we've done, rather than, like you said, the financial penalty is.
No.
But it's there for
Yeah,
the people
I
that
understand.
we talk to and then they don't address it, then that's
Right.
where the ordinance is helpful.
Acting Chief Tracy, can you just report to the governing body and members of the public? We had a couple of bad weather events that occurred throughout the state, flash flooding. I know there was a couple downed trees, which were quickly addressed, and we thank DPW for staying on top of that. Any issues with flooding and things of that nature? Can you
We've
report on that?
done very well. I don't know how, because talking to other towns just this past weekend, Norwood, not far from here, even Alpine, they got walloped. Paramus got walloped. And I don't think we had more than two small trees down, no flooding. And I checked those areas that for my last 24 years of working here have flooded every year. And I go to those same spots to check, and they have not been in a problem. Demarest, the bottom of Summit, seems to be doing okay. I don't know how we avoided the last storm, but we did. We did.
So you would probably say probably the improvements that have been occurring have probably
Yes,
contributed to it.
absolutely. There's nothing else you can attribute it to, because I have, like I said, 23 years of seeing flooding every time in those same spots without fail. Not even with significant rain, just an average storm would create flooding, where it became a routine of the police department. When you knew it was going to rain, before you went on patrol, you threw 10 traffic cones in the back of the patrol car because you knew you were going to need them later. That's how regular it was with just a normal storm. And now we're getting these major storms, and we're not seeing the flooding. So
Awesome. And for the members of the governing body, can you just report to them for in the spirit of efficiency and modernization, you tackled on a project of a scheduling system, time and attendance, moving away from a paper-based processes for the first time in the department's history. Can you just talk about that a little bit? That because we're about to unveil that,
Yep.
And it's going to be,
major change. It shouldn't be a major change, but it is. So the police department, since I've been here, has relied upon a 100% paper scheduling system. And when I say paper, I literally mean it's a piece of paper like this, hanging on a clipboard, and it has a box for each day and names written in each box for each shift. And when somebody takes a day off or takes a sick day, vacation, you just write next to their name, vacation, personal day, 100% handwriting. That creates tons of paperwork. It's highly inefficient. To produce reports like the total number of vacation days used or personal days used is manually taking out a calculator and flipping page by page by page and hoping that nobody made a mistake, because if they do, what is it? It's white out, and you white it out. That's how old it is. So we've signed with PowerTime, which is a program from NeoGov, which we have for many other systems here in Englewood Cliffs. NeoGov is part of our CAD system. It's going to be part of the benefits program. So it's going to be a 100% integrated system from the police department, hopefully to the DPW, to Borough Hall, and it'll include the onboarding system for new employees. It's a complete comprehensive system, but the scheduling system for us is just going to be a huge time saver. For stats, when somebody takes a day off, there's an app on their phone. They fill out an application to take a day off. It gets immediately sent to their supervisor on his phone. He approves it. The schedule gets marked. If it creates an opening on the schedule ahead of time, and we can move people around to avoid overtime, we know about it ahead of time, not having to go through a paper schedule. Where are the holes? Where's the overtime that I got to try and fill? Sometimes it's last minute. That's where overtime comes from. Sometimes is there's no time to cover with movements. You just got to make phone calls to get somebody that's off to come in and work a shift. So that's huge, and it's not a huge expense. It's a couple $1,000s per year for something that's as robust as it is. And that'll be maybe like 2 or 3 months to fully onboard it. And then that'll be included in your packets. You have all the schedules, the overtime incurred, which right now is just an Excel spreadsheet. So that'll be huge. And the guys are psyched about it because they all like technology stuff, and the fact that they're going to have an app on their phone is cool to them. So
and it's going to be big for the auditor too, right?
But Tracy.
The other day we had to do as like I said, one of the officers retiring. You have to put all those numbers together. And now, not only are we flipping through paper from this year, we're taking binders out from 20 years ago. Guys retire in 25 years, so you got to take binders out. That right now we're in a storage box, a dusty, dirty storage box in the back of the parking lot. So it's just going to be a major improvement.
Okay,
So thank you for that. Thank
Yeah,
you for
that's a
approving.
great system. I have a question. Who
Sure.
put on those information? Who put on the actual system?
Who handles the system?
Yeah, who put on that information to the system?
I guess me. I mean,
You.
we work with
Anybody?
together.
Anybody can revise it later on, or maybe if you just put on the one time, and then nobody can touch it.
No, we'll have
Who
probably
control the body? That is a very excellent system, but but the main concern is who control it, and who gonna to do overseas, or maybe later on someone can touch about it. So who got the authorization?
So we brought it on board, but everybody with a supervisory rank will have control permissions, sergeants, lieutenants, and myself. But then from the borough administrator, you're going to have access to the stats, the logs. It's pretty comprehensive. I mean, even Rich is going to have his version of what he needs for the benefits manager part of it. And if I misspeaking, just correct me, because I don't understand that aspect of it too well.
So
but
the police department, because they're responsible for their own procedures and stuff like that, and the day-to-day of this stuff is under OIC Tracy. It will work in tandem with administration, myself and Matt Leon, because we have to see the time anyway. When we know the auditors are coming, we have to quickly work hand in hand with them. So I'll be able to access the system. But in totality, because we are working on bringing NeoGov in for the borough side of things for time and attendance, the mayor, as you are the overseer of the entire municipal employees, you'll have access to that system to basically see who's calling out for the municipal employees side. Not the cops side. The cops side with Tracy and I will do that and work hand in hand. But you will, from the municipal employees side, on that front, you'll be able to have access to that and look into that because you're the mayor.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor,
welcome.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Okay,
may
yes,
I
go ahead.
jump in real quick? A couple of comments, please. First of all, it was a very good point that you brought up in terms of who's overseeing this. I firmly believe that no matter what no matter what we're putting forward right now, it's much better to that paper solution, and we will look into it further in terms of putting in the proper safeguards. The whole technology push is only as good as the people who are leading it. And I really thank the administrator, Jim, Tracy as well, doing an excellent job in trying to advance these protocols and controls. And I also want to thank the mayor and council for equivalent support in terms of pushing forward the digitization of the borough. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the support, sir.
Okay, next Fire
you.
Chief Andrew Nico, please come out.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Last couple of weeks have been probably the busiest time on record that I can remember in my 25 years of being on the department. We've responded to structure fires, high-angle rescue, car fires, car extrications, alarms. It's just been a extremely unprecedented busy time. July 4th, as OIC Tracy indicated, did not amount to anything. We did have staffing in the firehouse for both the 3rd and the 4th, which was fortunate based on the really severe weather that fortunately missed Englewood Cliffs but severely impacted communities to the south and communities to the north on the 3rd and 4th respectively. We dodged a very big bullet by that weather changing and not affecting Englewood Cliffs. It would have been a significant event for us, but we had people standing by
in coordination with the county for a deployment plan for local fire departments in the event something was needed either on the river, with fireworks, or fortunately with the weather. I'm not going to touch on the fire at 495 Sylvan other than what we've publicly disclosed because the matter is currently under investigation at Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, and any details on that should be left to them. You see in your agenda introduction of Ordinance 2026-12. Let me just speak about that briefly. Earlier this year, the state DCA and Division of DFS, Division of Fire Service, came in to review fire prevention. Fire prevention is separate from the building department. It basically handles the enforcement of the Uniform Fire Code in the state of New Jersey for existing buildings. It's your fire inspector that comes to take a look at commercial buildings. They found deficiencies in our current ordinance for fire prevention, numerous deficiencies. And the current ordinance, frankly, was very much out of date. It was assembled it's probably as old as I am in terms of how it was formulated and implemented. And what we did in coordination, myself, the borough administrator, the borough attorney, the state, and some consultants that I work with, developed a comprehensive new fire prevention ordinance that satisfies the deficiencies identified by the state of New Jersey, the DCA. It also modernizes our ordinance to allow for proper enforcement of the fire code, as well as updated fee schedules, enforcement actions, and just a reorganization of the structure of the Fire Prevention Office to allow Englewood Cliffs, based on how we've developed right now, to do this effectively for the safety of the community. So I think it's a very solid ordinance. We worked very long and hard on this to get this to fit Englewood Cliffs' needs and serve all of our residents as well as our commercial occupancies. Last thing I want to talk about is I sent the borough, the governing body, an email about what recently the borough of Paramus did with regards to member stipends. I'm disappointed to say that based on an analysis of surrounding communities, the stipend that Englewood Cliffs offers for our volunteer firefighters is now the lowest of all surrounding communities. And to be honest with you, I am very disappointed to hear that, because our firefighters stop at a moment's notice to serve this community, and to find out that we're at the bottom of the list for surrounding towns, Fort Lee, Palisades Park, Edgewater, Tenafly. We can do better than that to serve our members. I sent notice in the email outlining a responsible plan that would reward or incentivize response, attract new membership, and retain current membership. And I would be happy to discuss that with any of the members of the governing body. But frankly, I don't want to be at the bottom of the list compared to Palisades Park, whose mayor there stood hand in hand with the fire department, basically celebrating what they did for their volunteer members. I think this governing body can help us out and continue, the volunteer fire department that, we've been serving this community since 1905. So I appreciate any efforts that you can make. I know in the next couple of weeks we'll be going through, after the budget's passed, some items, but from my perspective, that should be a high priority for everything. and I'll answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Chief.
Councilman, turn on your mic.
Not because my son is the one of the volunteer members in the fire department. We probably needed to understand what is the process, that you just mentioned, right? Have a better understanding.
Yep.
What is the ranking? Then we can more systematically present something to the government body.
So it's actually a novel approach that several communities have done. The Borough of Paramus, the Borough of Palisades Park, for example, have initiated a tiered incentive system. Currently, any member of the department that makes 35% of their calls is eligible for a full stipend amount in the amount of $500 a month. What Paramus, Palisades Park have done to incentivize membership, to incentivize response, is done a tiered step process. So, for example, Paramus starts at 35%. They have a secondary stipend at 42%, and then they have a third, the highest level, at 50%. So it incentivizes response. It realizes that not all members will make that upper limit of percentage. Based on analysis, and I believe Schwabe and I did some calculations, the impact would be approximately $90,000 at worst case scenario for an entire year of operations for that, given that not all members would qualify at that highest level. And
again, we can talk about those details.
Absolutely.
Yeah, later. Then more, something more presentable.
No,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
What is there? If you're saying like the 90,000, is what's the? You're saying we're at the lowest, which is unfortunate to hear. I didn't know that either. What's the current kind of annual?
So the current stipend is for members making 35% is the $500 a month. Based on my research on the issue, that number has been unchanged for over a decade. I could be wrong on that, but that's based on the information that I gathered. The incentivization is that there are currently X number of members that could qualify at a higher rate. So most of my members, the ones that reliably show up, that are guaranteed to be there, their call percentage is over 50%. These are the people that I depend on day and night. The people who are less than that, due to work reasons, family reasons, their response rate would be less than the 50%. It does not change the base level of in any way. So the people who are perfectly happy responding at the rate or not capable of responding, it does not hurt them. But the people who do put in more effort are rewarded for it. And like I said, other municipalities have found that this is an effective way to encourage response, and number one, it's also a great way of attracting new membership. It really is.
Yeah, I guess my question is though, the 90,000 that you mentioned that with this proposed tiered system, what is the cost to the borough? What is the borough contribute to the fire department currently?
I believe
based on the
current
system,
line item for
annually?
salaries and expenses. Now, this is not just the stipend exclusively. This is also standbys for weather, events, things like that. I believe it's $125,000 right now, Shoaib.
I guess I should rephrase it. What would be the extra cost for this tiered stipend?
90,000.
90 additional.
Correct.
I got it. Okay.
Based on an estimation, and of course, response rates vary by year. But part of my reporting that I have to provide to the federal government as well as the state is response percentages for membership, and I have all that data based on analysis of people who routinely make the percentages. You can average out their average response rate over the course of 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and you can see that there would be no discernible change in their anticipated response. So a member that makes 70% of their calls for the past 3 years, barring something unforeseen, will continue to make those 70% of their calls going forward, and that's how that number was derived at.
Right, that's the 90. The 90 is the
Yes.
extra. Okay, got
Correct.
Thank you.
Was I right on that one, or?
The current budget, including the clothing allowance, is at 140 for 2026.
Okay. So we combined the clothing allowance and the stipend for this year.
And my recommendation would be to look at it at a fire committee level, and not just look at the stipend, look at the full compensation, which includes the standby pay, clothing allowance, anything that basically is a compensation to the firefighters. Look at it as a package. Low SAP is separate line item in the budget. That's around 25 to 30,000, if I'm not mistaken. So once you look at it at the fire committee level, kind of revisit it, clean it up a little bit so it's more transparent, because right now we're talking about stipend, but we're not talking about clothing allowance, we're not talking about the standby pay, and then make a recommendation to the finance committee, who can look at it, and this would be something that you would consider for the next year's budget, because right now you've already adopted this year's budget. So that should be the game plan if that's something you want to look into.
Quick question. When you say 35% response, that is within the town, or?
I'm sorry?
35% response rate, right?
Yes.
That is just within the town, Borough of Englewood Cliffs, or?
So no, that's whenever we have alarms, alarms, response, request for service, drills, training drills, coordination meetings, everything like that is logged and submitted to the federal government through NARIS, the National Emergency Response Information System. I can't believe I remember that. But all of that is logged, so anything that's deemed reportable by the government is logged as a response percentage.
Okay. So the bottom line is there's no impact to this year's budget. No impact to this year's budget, right?
Yeah, we basically should time it so it starts January 1st, 2027, and your 27 budget will be crafted accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense, because by the time any of these, if there needs to be changes in ordinances for this, I would assume we'd have to modify salary ordinance. That would already bring us into the fall season, beyond where the third quarter stipend payment would be made, and your fourth quarter stipend payment doesn't really affect 2026 budget. It would be fall into 2027.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Let's
you, guys.
discuss
Thank
further
you.
more. Okay, next, construction. Okay, you can go home now. Okay, that's okay. You are waiting too long. Okay, it's okay. Everybody can go home and have a good night. Okay.
We like the Beijing University dash.
The Beijing University?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy to say that we're starting to become very busy, which this usually is a busy time of the year for us. We need to bring in the revenue. I know there's a question the mayor had about the amount of homes being built. I believe about 10 to 15 new homes without renovations, which, we work with the zoning department, works with the people that come in with building permits, that they don't. The way to operate is to have it so they don't have to go to the board. You try to get them to comply with what they have. Some we can't, and they'd have to go to the board. So another thing, we're very excited about the digitization of the Oprahs and all the records that we're getting. I mean, a lot of towns, I've been in many towns, a lot of towns talk about it, but nobody really moves on it, because of, there's an enormous amount of time that's spent on Oprahs that come in, that eats up a lot of our time, and we're pretty excited about that. And also, I know that the flooding, we've been trying to get people in the South Cliffs to put these seepage pits in, and some of the people understand the situation we have with the drainage, with the flooding, and so we're getting some of the people to do that. And I believe I see a significant change, because we have started some of the repairs on Hudson Terrace, and I believe that we've had some pretty big rainstorms recently, And I know the DPW can tell you that we could see a significant change in the flooding. So hopefully, with a little more work, we'll pick it up better. That's about it.
Question: the restaurant unfortunately destroyed by the fire. What is the debris removing plan process?
Nothing. We ordered not to touch anything. We're not allowed to go in there. It's fenced off. There's a. I mean, I would have liked to see it gone the first and second day, but we really can't. We can't even really comment about it.
So who's giving the order whether to
The
clean
court.
it up or
The court's
court?
involved. Oh yeah,
Okay.
judges, courts. It's pretty involved. They have to go through it. The job was to get it to a point where it was safe because it was hanging. I know the fire department did a great job. Chief Neek Howe. I mean, I was there. They couldn't get the fire out. I mean, that fire burned all day long. I know the floor fell down, and the amount of water that they put on it, and they had to take it apart to get to the fire to get it out. The rest of it, we were afraid was going to fall on Sylvan Avenue, and it was a danger. I mean, we took it down, but that was it. We couldn't go any further than that. Now it's really out of our hands.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Next, DPW.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council.
Good evening.
Before I start, I just wanted to say Mark gives his regards. He's sorry he can't be here. He's on a much-needed vacation. Also, before I start, the gentleman's not here, but I would like to wanted to thank Jared for the work that he had done at the seniors. For those of you who might not know, he installed a new shed for them to replace their old utility shed, which was in terrible shape. It's work like that in town that really, kind of hits home. You got a young man like that looking out for the seniors. Me and Mark were over there. It's a really good looking job that he did, and gratefully it's ready for their barbecue. So I'd like to just thank him for that. On another note,
Thank you one more time.
the 2025 Riverside Co-op is completed now.
26.
And the 2026 Riverside Co-op, obviously, Ash, will be completed this week by Friday, I was told by the contractor. Also, all the streets, today was Wednesday, it was recycling in the south. They were paving on Ash and Center. So if anybody gets any emails or calls, we're not actually doing those two streets until first thing in the morning. I didn't want to get the crews in the way of the job that was going on. So that's going to be those two streets will be taken care of first thing in the morning. So on the 27th, we had our recycling event down at the DPW. We recorded approximately 68 vehicles had showed up. So that's pretty good success. A lot of document shredding, a lot of donations. And on June 11th, obviously, with the fire at Lefke's, we assisted the PD and the fire department with road closures, and we also, for the first time, actually deployed our fuel truck to help the fire department keep their engines fueled up, so they don't have to wrap up and run down to the yard, fuel up, and that's pretty much all we have.
I have a question. DPW put on the before the street pavement maybe to take it out of their car. And how many days before you put on the sign? No parking signs.
I'm sorry, Mayor. You're very,
Yeah,
very soft spoken.
He's talking about the
and
no
I
parking.
can't hear.
Ralph, he's talking about the no parking signs.
No parking signs for the
to prepare for people to
yeah,
move their
yeah,
vehicles.
prepare
I
for
think
the
that might be
street.
an engineer question, Mayor, because the
Oh,
engineers.
engineer?
Yeah, the engineers.
Okay, would you answer it for us about one of our residents, towed her car, paid about $375, and they got the fine. Just she didn't know that about it. That is, we should give in advance notice to her, to everybody. And how many days before you put on the, no parking signs?
Mayor, which street was this first? So they
Birch
Street notice a vehicle was towed before milling and paving, and
That was the first one.
Yeah.
I think that was the first incident. That was we just noticed it. I think the night before.
So they got.
It was like
Okay.
4 p.m. the day before.
Yeah.
And her car was towed the next morning. So that if you come home from work at 3 or 4 o'clock and you don't go out again at night, that's not fair. I'm just gonna opine, but we
Yeah.
could have done that another day before.
I know Intishan you suggested trying to waive some of the things.
Yeah, so Mayor, we said that was the earlier streets because I think the contractor was pressuring to come in a little bit earlier. Otherwise, they weren't going to touch the remaining streets on the 2025 list, which was Birch and Hickory. And so we said the vehicle that got towed, that we were going to basically have the fees get talk to the towing company to get the fees waived for them to just pick up the vehicle, and that is something that our engineers will be working with our police department on. That was a thing because at the end of the day, it did come out of nowhere. Even though we did send out something, but typically we'd like to give what is a standard time, Arsalan, like 48 hours.
Like 48.
Yeah. But they did not have the 48 hours on Birch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that's why we're going to try to waive it.
Okay, gotcha. I understand, but they complained about it. Okay.
And all the other street we did have adequate notice and more coordination with the police and everything. It was just the first street and hiccup for the first street.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, next.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I please make a comment also, since we're on the topic, because I wasn't aware of this. Intishan, were there any other costs to the resident in terms of did they have to rent a vehicle? Did they have to hire an Uber? Has any of that been looked into?
No, it has not. But if the resident, if we get that towing information, we can ask for any costs that were associated during that time period when they didn't have the vehicle, and the town could cover that. That's not an issue.
It's up to the mayor, but just, please just make sure you cover all the bases.
Yeah, she paid immediately, and she picked her car immediately.
Sit like the very next day, right, Mayor?
Yeah.
All right, so then it's just the fee for the thing to reimburse that resident. So we'll work that Shueb with the police department and the engineers to get that information so that resident gets that reimbursement.
And on the other hand, that's not justifying it, but the equipment that was there after that would have basically delayed the whole project later on if the car was left on site. So I guess that was part of the problem.
I do know that the police department also does try to knock on the doors and stuff, but still, it's still not enough time.
Yeah. Sleep and early night, so she didn't catch up. That's why she complained about it. She just got the short notice, and then her car towed away, and pick it up. Okay, later on at the public session, we will explain. Okay, thank you. And recreation department to come out, then please.
Thanks, everybody. With what we're talking about with Jared doing that work, it reminds me that Ralph has done an amazing job. We depend so much on DPW and have so much teamwork with Mark. Ralph stepped right in and took care of everything we needed for summer camp. And there was absolutely same thing with the chief. Just wanted to thank him because it was seamless, and we're so dependent and helpful. Especially with the job that we're trying to focus on, which is providing high quality, affordable programming and improving the services under what the mayor and the BA have tried to do, which is modernize the department. So that means that when we're working with new software and all that's sort of modern technology. We're also planning, collaborating with the residents and the borough departments with the support of the mayor and the BA to strengthen the programs, the community events, and the resident experiences. So we've implemented, pop-up classes and things that we can try using the software. Sometimes we've found that there's glitches in the software, using the community to help us form a loop. So it's been a nice process, because even though nothing is perfect, we've been able to incorporate more community involvement through the work of the department heads and the mayor and the BA. So we appreciate that. One of the things that we've been working hard on is reorganizing and the camp, and taking into account the inflationary pressures on families. We restructured the camp so that we could offer weekly registration options. This allowed families to participate based on individual schedules and budgets, rather than committing to the full summer all at once. The feedback to that has been really good. We have to be a little bit more flexible, because we don't know all the people that are coming every week until that week, but we built a structure so we can allow for that flexibility, which serves the community better. We have 80 campers that are enrolled for the full season, but weekly registrations have generated an additional 40 to 80 participants throughout the summer. So that expands the access and maintains the strong overall participation. It's actually stronger than last year. The camp is operating smoothly thanks to the help of all the various departments and the great work of Christine and Jason and the directors. We're also underway for our planning for the camp picnic and the recognition ceremonies, where the campers will be recognized for their participation and presented with certificates from the mayor and the borough. It's significant because on top of everything else, we have new food, new software, new trips. We really did a lot of work. We've also begun initial planning for Englewood Cliffs Day. The Recreation Department has already met with the police and DPW to address safety, logistics, operations, and event planning. The Recreation Committee will meet to review the preliminary event concept and provide direction on key planning issues. Initial discussions include a proposed theme centered on the future, emphasizing youth engagement, which allows us to use the camp and the counselors to get more involvement from the community and expand the recreational opportunities, so that we can have tennis, baseball, soccer, little games that we found were effective during the FIFA event. So that there's, in addition to just rides, there's actually sports that the kids can do. We are also happy about the encouragement of the mayor and the BA about continuing to embrace the culture of improvement by actively seeking feedback from residents, staff, volunteers, and community partners. So one of my main jobs is to make sure that I'm talking to everybody and reflecting to software developers what the needs of the community are, so we can continue to improve everything. This philosophy recognizes that the most effective municipal services evolve over time through collaboration with the people who use them. Rather than viewing new initiatives as completed once implemented, the department is identifying opportunities to refine programs, improve processes, and enhance the overall resident experience, which includes setting up procedures and protocols where in some cases it didn't really exist. A lot of great work was done by great people, but we want to make sure that the work is codified so that you don't have to have the greatest people all the time doing it, just administrating what's been worked out through the collaboration and the efforts of the community at large. Similarly, staff are documenting the prioritizing of feedback regarding the Edmonds recreation software. Enhancements are addressed in a systematic, ongoing manner, allowing the platform to improve over time based on real-world use and community input. That's basically what I've been describing. The collaborative approach strengthens the municipal services and ensures the recreation department remains responsive to the needs of the residents, which are in motion, understandably. And that concludes my recreation report. I'm open for questions if you have.
Anyone? Any question?
No, I just want to, just from personal experience, I have 3 kids that have gone to the camp, and a lot of friends in town that have their kids, and everybody's been very, very happy with, even from last year, the improvements. Everyone's very, very happy with how everything's going along. Everything seems very smooth. So I was very happy to see my kids happy first and foremost, but to also get the positive feedback from others that it seems to be very well thought out and planned. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Kids have big parents.
Okay, next item is public hearing portion. I need a motion and a second to open public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Liang.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? No, nothing, right? Okay, any member of the public, you can come out and then you can speak your name and the town. Your time is 5 minutes. Okay, yeah.
Mayor, but we're going to begin with the folks in the audience first, and then we'll move to the
Okay.
folks on the Zoom. Okay, just wanted to state that for the record. Mayor, who did you call in
Okay,
first?
Mr.
Geiger? Okay.
Martin Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. I have a question or two for the auditor. Mr. Auditor, are you familiar with the borough's cash management plan? Perhaps he'll answer after. Anyway, the borough has a cash management plan as required by law. I don't know that you audit it, but I would think you'd want to make sure the borough has one when you do your audit. And I'd want to know whether under that plan, the chief FO, the CFO, has complied with it. Compliance, if I recall, is a monthly filing with the borough clerk of tax collections, interest earnings on funds, and matters of that nature. I'd also like to ask the auditor whether, like previous auditors who we've had for the borough, he feels it's within his purview to comment on the appropriateness of having no tax increase in the budget. We've had auditors in the past who have expressed opinions about that, perhaps at the request of council people. I don't know if it's in your purview, but I'd like to know if you want to comment on the fact that the borough has now, I think for 3 years running, sustained a no tax increase budget based on use of surplus and one-time revenues. I'd like to ask IC about his grant, the 177,000 grants. Can we get a list of what the grants are for, as well as what the borough's share of spending is that's associated with those grants? Oftentimes the borough has to spend a certain amount in order to qualify to get the grant or to be reimbursed, as you know, of course. The event that was held June 19th at Whitty Field, that has been discussed. There's an ordinance that required the permit holder to pay a fee for the permit, which is fine. We've learned subsequently that there was at least 12 hours of DPW time that was spent on a federal holiday, and there may have been police overtime as well. I would kindly ask that you review the ordinance concerning the use of the park and consider providing that people who request use of the park, in addition to paying the administrative fee, be required to pay the costs incurred, whether it be for putting up tents, bringing in chairs, cleanup, and whatever, because I don't think it's fair to impose those charges on the taxpayers of the borough for events that are purely of a personal or private nature. I've noticed over the past few meetings that you've put appointments on the agenda before public comment. That's a departure with past practice, and I would like you to perhaps explain why you're doing that. As to the steel that you proposed to purchase, my recollection is that the borough went out for RFP for a consultant to evaluate the cell towers, and I would think we'd want to know what the consultant has recommended. If the consultant report is in, if
if you've received it and the consultant is recommending that we spend the money to buy the steel. I'd like to know that, Bats. Otherwise, I'm curious, who decided all of a sudden we should spend money to buy the steel that's associated with the cell tower? I've noticed a lot of flags around town. That's very nice. It's nice to have flags. But when did the council meet to authorize purchasing and installing flags? There are bills on the agenda tonight to pay for that, as well as the flags that were circulated to all the homes. Who did that? Because I don't remember it being discussed by the council or voted on or approved by the council. I ask again about the 9W smoke study on the sewer lines, which, to my recollection, was to be undertaken by this company you referred to called National Water Main, voted on by the council at least 3 years ago. It's a camera smoke study of the sanitary sewer lines on 9W. We're still waiting for that. I'd also like to know about the money that we're expecting back from, I think it's Mr. Silverman, 910, 940. I saw a video, or at least photographs online, of some of the council people at a grand opening at Englewood Health, which I believe is the facility which is owned by this company, or this gentleman. And I thought the borough attorney mentioned at the last meeting that the borough was not giving out any COs to him or his work or his companies until he paid the borough back for the money that was improperly advanced to pay his costs for his planning board application. I'd like to know the status of that. And then finally, and most perhaps importantly financially, can you somewhat explain in some detail why it is we're paying 800 Sylvan close to $500,000, or a combination of refund and tax credit for almost $500,000 in a certiorari proceeding? Thank you.
Okay, all the questions we want to answer later on. Okay, next. Okay, Ms. Karen Geiger, please.
You got most of my points, so I'm not going to repeat them, but on a simpler level, going around town, just with the port, you mentioned there was a problem at the field with the bathrooms. Has anyone considered putting a porta potty there until this gets resolved? There are a lot of children who go to the park, residents of the park, peak time in the summer. We've just spent over $5,000 on flags. Certainly we could rent a porta potty to deal with the problem until it gets resolved. The other thing is I'm just hearing about the problem on Hickory with the car that was towed.
Birch Street.
Birch, I'm sorry. Have you considered using Birch? Anyway, have you considered using the police notice signs that you see that say slow down? Put it on that street 2 nights before so residents are aware. People go into their homes through garages, never hit their front door. Some people use their front door, don't use their garages. The best way to do this is to put a notice on the street itself. We don't have a big town, it's very easy to accommodate it. And that kind of a sign, instead of using it for slow down this week, put it on the street that's going to be paved or in the vicinity so residents are aware. It's a very simple solution. The flags that you distributed, how are we supposed to get rid of them? 4th of July has come and gone. Many of us are very cognizant that you cannot throw a flag in the garbage. It's against the law. So could you set up a disposal spot so that those of us who don't want these little flags have a place to put them where they will be respected as the law requires? The other thing, Hickory Street. Beautiful paving job. It looks terrific. The next day, the Viola or whoever marked up the street with blue and yellow markers right across the brand new pavement. I live on Alfred. The markers from Viola are on my street going on 3 years. They never come off. So you should contact, with all due respect, Viola and make sure that they deal with that appropriately. It's hideously ugly. You don't need blue and yellow markers across a street. That's my comments on. Oh, and Westervelt. Westervelt was behind me. One day I awoke to the sound of saws, which means a tree is being cut down. No marking, no nothing. Unauthorized, no permit, shade tree. They don't cut them down. They cut off the top, they cut off all the branches, and we have totem poles. I suggest that whoever is going around town look for these things. Residents don't know that they need permits. They don't know who's licensed and who isn't. So I'm trying to assume this is not deliberate, but this is not a good way to deal with mature shade trees in borough property in the right of way that are just being killed. Police issue. To Steve Kochis, congratulations, but question for the mayor and council. A few months ago, unfortunately, the police were here in Mass, concerned about health benefits, as many people are today. And I'd like to know how that issue has been dealt with for a retiree. Is this person accepting that the current situation? Is he part of a litigation effort? What's being done? What is his separation agreement? Does it deal with it? And if it does deal with it, how is that being extended to other police who might be considering retiring and are waiting until this health issue is resolved? The audit report. I'd like to see a reference. I had 50 pages of a federal report in my packet of printed out stuff. I mean, I don't care about the federal boilerplate. I do care about the audit findings. I don't want to have to go to the borough website and blow up the audit findings when you're giving me other garbage that I really don't care about, like resignation letters of employees, etc. Deferred charges. Can you please explain to us specifically what the issue was with the failure to properly budget for deferred charges and how that's being dealt with? I noticed that we have a savings of about $500,000 in deferred charges.
Okay, thank you. Time is up.
Yes, I know that. That's a problem.
Thank you. Okay, next.
All right.
Anyone
If
else?
anybody in the public, in the audience wishes to be heard,
Yeah,
please step forward.
Yeah, okay, come on.
Chief Nico.
Andrew Nico, 54 Elm Street.
It's good.
Hopefully you can hear me. This is regarding item that I brought up, I think, previous month, and now that the pavement is being done on several streets, can we please make sure that the contractor does proper striping and put stop bars in? I would hope that that's one of your punch list items. I mean, with the concern about people running stop signs, that goes a big way. So I just hope that that's done.
We're putting back what was there.
Well, there wasn't anything there. That's the problem. So when these things were done previously, there were no stop bars. So,
Chief, you're like talking about like Con Terrace, like they're onto Hudson Terrace. There's supposed to be a stop bar there, right?
So when you approach the intersection, there's a stop sign. There should be.
No, I know, but like even before when I first started, I never saw a bar there. It's supposed to be there, but
I mean,
that's something you need to look out for.
Yeah, we're doing these streets. We have the concern with people. I know I've almost been T-boned a couple of times by people running stop signs on, the side streets over there. So, a little bit helps.
We have a subcontractor, so the engineers will execute that.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next. Anybody else?
Anybody else from the audience?
No.
All right, Mayor. For folks that are on Zoom that wish to be heard for the public portion on any matter, now is the time to unmute yourself or try to get our attention somehow. and I could try to unmute you if you wish to be heard. Otherwise, I think it's like star 60 something if you're on the phone. Going once? Going twice?
One.
Nope, Mayor. No
Okay.
other comments.
Okay, seeing there are no other comments, I want to close the vote. I need a motion to close
Motion.
public portion.
Motion by Councilman Patel, second by Councilwoman Begats.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor.
Okay, why don't you,
Yeah.
each person, okay, why don't you answer
Yeah.
for her?
Yep. So I'll take a stab at some of the answers, and then Bob, our other department heads, feel free to jump on in, or I'll point towards you. Before the auditor answers the questions pertaining to the audit that Mr. Geiger asked, there was a question about, I believe, the costs associated with the flags. The reason why there was no resolution, the borough follows a purchasing manual that our QPA designed when he first came on board. Any cost that exceeds $7,000, if I'm not mistaken, requires 2 quotes. And then from the 2 quotes, it just goes on to the bills list if it has the required signatures from a requisition, then to a purchasing order. If it's over $17,500 and it's not a part of a state contract or a co-op, then a resolution that authorizes a required disclosure award, which is a pay-to-play resolution where they fill out vendor manual exhibits. That's how an item appears on the agenda for resolution approval. But other than that, if the costs are much lower and all we need to do is get 2 quotes, we do 2 quotes and we get a PO, and then that's how it gets on there. And then the council, when a PO is issued, that's sort of like a contract for payment, where the payment for services can be done after the services are rendered, and then it could appear on the bills list. So that's what happened here with the flags, of how we procured the flags, which doesn't require the council to give a thumbs up. The mayor can turn around and say, "Hi, Intishan, I want to do something for the town. Can you find money for it and look into it? Talk to the respective committee. But can you go ahead and see if there's items to buy this thing, just like any department head would for the needs of their department." So that's what happened here. The mayor at our department head meeting thought about an idea to basically think about ways to better honor the community with the 250th celebration coming about, since we couldn't do fireworks. Henceforth, we had an event, and we wanted to distribute flags and commemorative, giveaways and a message from the mayor, and that's what happened, and we deployed resources according to that. So we could do that. Bob, did you have anything to add to that particularly? But correct me if I'm wrong. That's pretty.
Your discussion is correct.
All right. So I'm gonna jump around because I know a lot of the professionals will comment on some stuff. Bob, you'll handle the steel comment, and then 9W smoke study will be the engineers, and then the auditors. Let me go to Mrs. Geiger. Actually, yeah, I think that's it from my end. But Bob, did you want to answer the run about the Verizon Steel purchase? So we do have the professional. The professional did recommend the purchase of the steel, which was Ace Telecom to just own it. That doesn't mean we're holding or selling the tower. It just means we're maximizing the value of ownership of the tower. So Ace Telecom made that report. Then, no, the new guy is a subject matter witness. The witness is basically taking the research that was done from Ace Telecom, and then basically signing off on saying, yes, proceed here or do that, or whatever the case is. We haven't gone out to bid. We haven't done any of that stuff. We're waiting on our expert report before we do anything. However, it was through professional advice to basically own the steel on the borough side. So we don't have a carrier owning that steel on our tower. Correct me if I'm wrong? Yeah. Bob?
That's correct. The recommendation was to own the steel. It maximizes our value, and that's why my item is here for action this evening. I will look into this issue on Sylvan that Mr. Geiger spoke of. I was not aware. I'm not aware of what CO was issued, but I will look into that and report back.
see if there's anything else here for me.
I think it was a previous that Englewood Health. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if Gino just left. That was prior that 910-940. It's 910 Sylvan Avenue. It was a tenant in there, a surgery center inside in partnership with Englewood Health and RWJ. So they got that prior to previous or dealings, and they just finalized the opening of their business. So predated probably myself and what have you, but we can ask Gino to get that paperwork of when that timing was, if it was before Bob's comments of saying no more COs issued.
And then there was a discussion, someone brought forth, I think it was Mr. Geiger, to review the ordinance to be sure that fees for use of the park or chairs or items are properly covered by the person, the entity or person who's seeking to use the facility. So we can look into that as well.
Okay, and the next auditor, please.
Sure. I believe there were 3 questions, and I'll go backwards, I guess. The deferred charge audit recommendation, under the budget law, deferred charges are required to be raised in the subsequent budget when they're incurred. What's happened here, and as I mentioned it previously, last year's audit came out so late the budget was already adopted. So the audit determined there were certain deferred charges that occurred during the 24 period that had not been included in the budget because they were unknown at that time. So through the audit process, certain deferred charges were determined. At the time the budget was prepared and adopted, it was unknown. Hence, they could not be raised until the following year since the budget was adopted. So that's why the comment, and the same thing is happening in this year. We determined certain things that were deferred charges, and the audit is just being adopted and the budget's adopted. It's basically a timing problem, and that's all it is. The second one, my objective as the registered municipal accountant with a budget is to certify that it meets all the standards of the local budget law. The tax rate is a management decision, which is made by this governing body, and I make no comment with respect to a tax rate because that would be a management decision that would impair my independence and I would be prohibited from being the auditor. So I cannot comment on a tax rate. I can only comment that the contents of the budget comply with the budget law provisions. And then finally, our audit opinion is based upon obtaining reasonable assurance that it's free from material misstatement, meaning the financial statements. Internal policies suggesting reports to be submitted to the governing body, whether it be formally, informally, or not, with regards to the cash management plan, is not an audit procedure of ours. That would be internally, whether governance, administration wants specific reports from department heads. That's for enforcement right up there, not as the auditor. And I believe that were the comments respecting the audit.
I'm sorry.
I believe that was the comments addressed regarding the audit.
On the issue of health benefits, we do congratulate Lieutenant Kachis. I've had extensive discussions with him, who approached the borough to indicate the intent to retire, which we simply just accepted today. Our labor attorney will be drafting up a sidebar agreement for time allotted and owed after it's confirmed by the auditor as a system that we're putting in place to basically whatever time system or time management we're able to basically have our professionals review everything to make sure everything is done so before it appears on the agenda. So there's going to be another action item taken when it comes before the retirement date of October 1st. Now, as you know, the borough is currently under arbitration. However, the arbitration has been suspended due to the a move to go to order to show cause in Bergen County Superior Court regarding this case for health benefits. So as this legal proceedings are going on, as you can understand, Ms. Geiger, we can't comment on it further. However, it is an understanding between the parties of Lieutenant Kachis and the borough that whatever the determination of the outcome is, both parties will respect and honor that whenever the conclusion comes of it. So we estimate that the timing of his end date of October 1st to be off the books, we'll have a solution when and from there the town and both parties will take action on that. So it's a timing thing, and that's why Lieutenant Kachas felt comfortable hitting the a button to retire. But because by the time October 1st comes around, there should be a solution for this issue. But there is no special treatment or special arrangement for Lieutenant Kachas for that matter, and the matter is in the hands of the court, our labor attorney who's representing the borough, and as well as the PBA attorney as they're working it out in court. So that's all we can comment on that.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And
anybody want to mention the tax refund?
Oh yes.
okay.
So if you can recall on the resolution at the February resolution 2026-92 talks about a authorization that the mayor and council authorized a tax appeal settlement. There was a mediation in Newark, New Jersey with 800 Sylvan Avenue, and I don't want people to think it's the section where the folks Garden Homes is a part of. It's the Unilever, DBA Unilever. It's like a food processing location. So that area, they appealed their taxes like anybody else. And I think it was upwards to, what was it, like $1 million or something?
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Yeah.
It was close to $1 million. Because of that, it triggered the federal, it to be taking place in Newark, New Jersey. And from there, our tax appeal attorney, our tax appraiser, our tax assessor, along with Councilman Liang, as a representative of the governing body, and myself, were there listening into the proceedings of a mediation. And the two parties came to the terms of that arrangement, which was presented to the governing body in the tax appeal settlement agreement, which was authorized by the governing body back in that resolution that's listed in this resolution as a citing 2026-92. And when you go from a tax appeal settlement, the judge still has to enter it as a judgment. And that's all it is. It's just basically confirming what the two parties have agreed upon. And that's how we got to where we are, where there's a $283,000 voucher payment that is part of the settlement terms, and then a $200,000 tax credit in future quarters in the year 2027. Those were the terms of the settlement agreement. The judge just simply entered it into a judgment, and then we have to pass a resolution. That's why over time you will see the addresses pop up again. Like, for instance, you see 68 Jane Drive under tax appeal settlement. You're going to see 68 Jane Drive again when the judge enters it as a judgment for the mayor and council to approve that, because the judge can always ultimately, do whatever they want. So once the judge enters it and whatever the judgment says, we have to follow that. I'm sorry?
Reserved for tax appeals.
It's reserved for tax appeals. There's a line item there.
There's sufficient. There's sufficient funds left at year end of approximately $1.2 million to cover that.
And as far as oaths and appointments, Mr. Geiger, over time, I think multiple times now, even when I was on the agenda and beforehand, I could show it. Oaths and appointments, as soon as the roll call is done as a first item of business, was because we used to have swearing-in ceremonies. Even when we hired the 3 cops, it was at the very top of the agenda. So just simply following the same structure, all oaths and appointments that include resignations or what have you, was just simply placed there. So if you can look back at the previous agendas, especially during the time that I've been here and what I've seen, it's always been at the very top, simply because people come out when we're doing swearing-in ceremonies and things like that nature, and we appoint them right there, and then we swear them in, and then we just kept it there at the top. So there was no intent of the governing body to sidestep the public in that regard.
May I ask a question on that topic?
Yeah, Councilman.
Yeah, okay.
Is that, in your experience, is that standard protocol?
Yeah, most towns, they have their oaths and appointments at the very beginning because they're swearing somebody in. In Englewood Cliffs, the only people that you've really sworn in since I've been here were the cops and myself. That was pretty much it. But other than that, everybody's just been on oaths and appointments. But people usually do that at the very beginning because family members show up, they're holding something, and then you have a ceremony. And so that's why every town usually has it in the beginning before any public portion, as soon as roll call is done. That's just something that people do. You just don't do the second part. You just don't swear people in or administer the oath of office.
Does it make any difference when it is?
I think from the public standpoint, I think why Mr. Geiger brought it up is because it gives the public an opportunity to comment on the item, if they want to protest the item, if they want to disagree or raise concerns. Like, for instance, if you're hiring somebody, why are we hiring this person? Do we need this person? I think that's an argument to be made, and I think that's why Mr. Geiger. I don't want to put Mr. Geiger's word in his mouth, but that's yeah. But I think Councilman Bagatz was saying, like, why would the public monitor care, but they care about that. That's so much what I would think. And then Bob, Mr. Geiger was asking about he couldn't hear what you said about the smoke study. I'm sorry, the ordinance. My apologies.
So you had asked about
the field,
making sure that people who use the facilities are paying for the actual cost of the borough. And what I said was that I would look at the ordinance, I would look and see how it functions, discuss it with the administrator, and then present it to the appropriate committee should we find something that needs to be done.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move on next agenda.
I want to make a comment, Karen, Ms. Geiger's about tree chops off. Borough requires any trees size over 6 inches required permit. However, I've seen a lot of trees are cut off. I've seen a lot of trees being cut off. Since once after the trees cut off, I think there is no way to make make the time the cutting the residents report to the police or whoever, and then we can give them a fine. There is a fine. Each tree cuts off, I think $3,000. I think something like that. But once it's cut off, we cannot do anything about it. So I've seen a lot of trees cut off. So probably we have to do something about even the trees cut off. We can make penalties or something. I think the only way would be we make pictures from the air, take pictures. See, I've seen a lot of trees. Someone like I think 550 Summit Avenue. The house is full of tree, and one day I passing by, there's no tree.
At the building there or no?
No, not no new one. Not there was there was a subdivision one side. The 3 houses. There was full of trees. That was I guess that they had a permit.
Yeah.
I don't know what permit requires to cut off all the trees. That I don't know. But the rest of the house, the other house, had also a lot of trees, but someday was all cut off. And I guess we need something. After the mass, we gotta do something. To regulate, not to cut off the trees.
I think we should send an email to the town, to the residents, and remind them of this ordinance and what is entailed. If you want to cut a tree, if you want to do this, just to give them the lay of the land, and maybe just to remind them. Maybe some people don't know, so just to try to reach out to them.
Okay, so we can in advance, we need to educate our residents. We can think about later on.
I'll look into that matter,
Yeah,
Mayor, with the
okay,
Shade
please.
Tree Committee. We have monthly meetings, and I'll bring this issue up with them.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea.
Two very quick things.
Okay.
One is I do like the idea of putting some porta potties at the park. I think it's something that, if we're going to be down and if the bathrooms are going to be down for, however
Can you
long,
look into this,
to
Ralph?
to get a couple porta potties outside there in the meantime, because residents are using the park.
There's still
No. So Ralph, anytime especially during the summer months, because you're routinely cleaning it, there's some issues there. There was reported incidents inside the both bathrooms where DPW had to go in there and clean it, which means the park is closed. But that doesn't stop the public from coming. Both Mrs. Geiger and Councilman Kapsaskis are in agreement to saying, because the summer is especially more busier, to look into placing porta potties. And I know you also talked about placing signage as well on the front door, because people don't even know why the bathrooms are locked to begin with. So to do the signage thing, which you said you were going to do, but also have the porta potty, have an alternative solution so folks can still use the bathroom when they're at the park. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. So just getting a porta potty there throughout the summertime, so people are able to go in there and do what they got to do, from that May to May to September, October time frame. That's somewhere in a location that you can put that's near enough to the bathroom that they can still go and use.
Yeah, no, that we can work on that.
And I believe Dan has a vendor that Dan will be able to give it to you tomorrow, and then we can get that going.
Yeah. Okay.
And
yeah,
the
we
other-
can work on that. That's
I see.
something
May I make a quick comment, please?
Okay, in the middle of
Tim, give me give me 5 more
okay,
seconds.
give a chance.
The last.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The last thing was when it comes to like paving that we're talking about, having, possibly if we know that a certain amount of residents are going to be affected, if, other than big signs or anything, how about just a quick letter in the mail that, your street will be closed. I know signs are one thing, people don't see them, but put a letter in the mail. Again, it's not going to happen all the time. So I don't know if that's possibly a solution that, we're at least doing our due diligence on our end of just putting it. Doesn't have to be certified mail or what have you, but just even if it's a flyer that we just walk door to door to put in their mailboxes.
So what I to take Councilman Kapsaskis' recommendation, Arslan, because I know you take the sign and you like slap it on the front door, but to Mrs. Geiger's point, people pull into the driveway, they don't even look at it, and they don't probably look at the telephone poles that have no parking on there. So if you worded it like, even besides the sign thing that Tracy could put out in certain locations that road resurfacing will come out, can we just do resident and then street address and Englewood Cliffs NJ, and just do a mass mail that way, covering that block. I never got it in the mail.
And we have complete record of everything. You give me the address, I'll show you the picture of the house with the notice on it. And send it in mail, you would say, oh, my mail is running up for 3 months. I didn't see it. Now what do I do with that? The only way I can do it is to do a certified letter.
Right.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
And don't
No.
forget, there is
Even
the no parking signs, like basically every other.
Yeah, on the
house.
right of way. But sometimes people are rarely, because the other complaints that we've gotten throughout this process was people that pull their car into the driveway, they can't get out when the road project starts because they didn't look at those poles, right? So and they're not subscribed to the notification system that we've
But
sent out.
we do knock on everybody's door every morning when it starts.
We knock on every single door to make sure that they get in and out, and if they need to get out
Like
later,
7 o'clock in the
they know
morning.
who talked.
The other thing is, we said before, and you asked us, so we did that in the past. We send you the notice, and you kind of.
Yeah, I know. We do post it out, but not everybody's on their phone. A big portion of the stuff.
I mean, we tried.
Yeah, I understand.
Can you take that same sign where you post it on people's front doors and slap it on their front of their garage as well? Garage door. That.
Is that you can also send out if you have the notification system, you can use the phone system to do that. You can have 10
No, but we
notifications.
it's a text message blast, the phone and email that we have through GoGov that people sign up, that we do send out the notices if they sign up. Yeah.
Based on doing it for so many years, you can do everything in the world, and you find that one person who will never see anything, and it's a
Yeah, there's no fail safe. I get that.
That's what my experience is.
Yeah, I
I spend all the money in the world.
You have a suggestion? Yeah.
Come out, yes, please.
I don't know if you have to amend the towing ordinance, but if there's a car that's on the street that you're working on, if car could just be towed to a different side street that's not being impacted. It's a huge difference.
I like that.
Somebody's just got to walk a block to get their car.
That's a good suggestion.
That makes sense.
$300 overnight storage fee
That
is what
makes
they do
sense.
in New York City. If anybody's ever gone out to New York City and they're filming a movie on the street, they move your car and you got to go find it. But it beats having to go to the tow yard and pay $300.
I really like that, and I did that like once
It's a great
before.
suggestion.
But a lot of time, actually, the police had problem with that because they said the minute we call the tow want to take it to his yard because that's how he gets paid.
The ordinance has to be amended to reflect.
And I'm sure the
But
police
that's-
officer on
but
site,
if the
the
police
police
is
officer will
okay-
be on site when it's the tow truck comes out,
We're
right?
completely good with it.
So is the engineer saying that you're not going to get a tow company to come out if he's not able to charge that $200 tow fee? So that's something you have to have in your borough ordinance. It says if you want to be a tow company in this town, you have to accept that you're going to make money when you do police tows and police impounds. You're not going to make bank when you're moving cars to a side street. It might be a $50 fee.
Or in their parking lot.
Certainly not $300.
Well, even if it's 300, I'd rather go around the corner than have to, even if it is the full amount, you know.
Or true.
That makes sense.
They track down the license plate number, they track down the resident, they try to call them, they go knock on the door.
We did,
After
yeah.
that, it gets
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
There are towns that do that, though. It's just a matter of amending the ordinance. If it's a town project, you can move the car to the next adjacent side street. And
Yeah, it's only for a town project.
it depends on the work where they will just tow, don't even do anything.
Okay, Councilor, Mr. Tinker Travis, you want to add on something?
Yeah, it's just very minor in terms of the signage that they propose to put up on the doors in the bathrooms. Just if you could just look into getting something more permanent, so nobody's just carrying around the sign with them, which is subject to being lost, forgotten, etc. But that's all. I'll leave it to DPW to figure it out. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now, okay, let's move on next agenda. Okay.
Yes. So
I forwarded the camera footage, by the way.
yes. So we got, but it was just the drainage smoke study, not the sanitary on Sylvan. So we'll wait for Mark again to come back and keep chasing that information.
This whole project started because of the sanitary sewers being infiltrated on 9W. That's the genesis of this 3 years ago. It still hasn't been dealt with. We've spent a lot of money, a lot of consultants, and 9W, including this same company who wasn't able to do it. National Water. They weren't able to do it. They couldn't figure out how to get under 9W. So I don't know what you're looking at, but the sanitary sewers and the influence of the sanitary sewers under 9W were the issue 3 years ago. That's what started all this. That's what started Boswell. That's what started the TWA. The rainwater was secondary. The rest of the town was tertiary. It was 9W, and we still don't have an answer.
Was the study done?
No.
To our understanding, the information we got was, I think maybe team helped. We got whatever we got ended up being stormwater, not sanitary.
So what about the camera, when the borough got cameraed out for everything? You obviously have the Boswell report that you looked at,
Yeah,
which did
that's
not
all.
include anything. And then there was camera footage that link that I got from Mark, and then I forwarded to you guys. There was nothing on it. You're saying that's all? That was us.
That was sanitary. Storm sewer. It wasn't a sanitary on 9W.
So I mean, did we paid a company to do sanitary and we don't have that footage? Is what I'm hearing?
I think National Water Main, if they were the vendor that was paid to do the study underneath 9W and they're already awarded to do the rest of the town as a separate project, we could ask them if they have that.
They never did. I'll save you the trouble. They couldn't figure out how to get permits.
They could get permits.
To
the state?
Into the sewers.
Okay.
From the state.
So 9W would have required NJDOT permits.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but were they awarded that project? That is
Yes,
the first
they were
question.
awarded. That was the project they were awarded.
And-
We never did it.
And they get paid for it.
But
They did the rest of the town. They didn't do what they were awarded to do. I don't know how to say that. Jerry was involved with it.
Let's talk more.
Yeah,
I
I'll
spoke
give
to
her a
the
call.
state on behalf
I'll have a conversation with Jerry Barbario tomorrow, and then I'll just
Please
loop in.
don't. You won't know the answer other than to say nothing was done. No, we'll pay money for the conversation. Another 3,000.
Yeah.
The section of sanitary here.
Okay, let's move on. Next item. Okay. I need a motion and a second to approve June 10th regular and closed executive
Motion.
session meeting minute. I need a motion.
Motion.
and a second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Liang.
Roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Abstain.
Oh, abstain. Okay. Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And now, payment of voucher. I need a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-1-180.
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats.
Any discussion?
This is
Payment of
180,
voucher.
payment of vouchers.
Payment of vouchers.
I don't think any discussion, Mayor.
Okay, then roll call, please.
On roll call for resolution number 2026-180, payment of vouchers, July 2026 bills list. Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next item is 2026 municipal budget items. I need a motion and second to approve resolution 2026-181.
Make a motion.
Anybody second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Patel. This is for resolution number 2026-181, resolution amending the municipal budget for 2026.
And then roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Next one
182.
is 180.
182.
Which one? Okay, I need a motion and second
Motion.
to approve
Second.
resolution 2026-182.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Liang. This is the resolution 2026-182 resolution adopting the amended municipal budget for the year 2026.
Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kasasis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Next item is introduction of ordinance. Would you take it over?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The next item is ordinance number 2026-12. We need a motion for the introduction and first reading of the ordinance number 2026-12.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats.
Would you please read the ordinance by title only?
You didn't ask for the roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes.
The clerk-
Ordinance number 2026-12, an ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 17 of the Borough Code entitled Fire Prevention. Now we need a motion and second to introduce and advertise ordinance number 2026-12 for public hearing in accordance with the law.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang. Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes.
Okay, we have ordinance 2026-13. We need a motion for introduction and first reading of that ordinance 2026-13 for handicap permit parking spaces policy.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, second by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats. Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes.
Please read the ordinance by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-13, an ordinance to create Chapter 7B entitled Handicap Parking Policy to provide for a policy for the creation of handicap parking spaces in front of residences.
Okay, we need a motion to introduce and advertise ordinance 2026-13 for public hearing in accordance with the law.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. On roll call, Councilwoman Begats.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Yes.
Mayor, the motion passes.
Okay, we have ordinance number 2026-14. We need a motion for the introduction and first reading of that ordinance 2026-14, the no-knock policy.
There is a request from some council people to table this. They want to look further into it, if it's okay.
First of all, if anybody can, give us a little bit more explanation. What is, the detail?
So, the intent of this ordinance is that if someone in the town does not want to have solicitors, commercial solicitors, coming to their home to solicit, they can request that their name be put on the list. That list is maintained by the clerk. Anytime someone comes in to ask for a permit to solicit, they receive the list and they cannot call on those homes. And if there is, it's a violation and there's a penalty.
So the only limit to the commercial activity, but not
So the exceptions are for people like if you called Amazon to come, and they can come obviously and deliver their goods to you. If there's a political campaign, someone's going door to door, that's accepted, and also if for charitable or religious purposes.
What about religious organizations?
And religious purposes, yes.
Some of the kids, they knock the door. Sell. What are we doing with the kids? That's the complaint mostly.
Well, the kids for what? What are they?
I don't think that that's the complaint, because the children are not soliciting anything. That's more of just that's a completely separate issue. If I'm not mistaken, Bob would be able to answer that question, or I see better than I would, but that's how I understand
Yeah,
it.
they're playing Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Just pranks, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something totally different.
Okay, can
But-
we table
Matt,
it
you
or
got-
we can
but,
study it better?
May I also just say another thing on the matter too? Just another point of view. I understand the point of view of why having it there, but also we have to consider that in this day and age, people do whatever they can to try to get your information, plant devices, etc. And with fraud, we need to be able to safeguard the community against just people just anonymously dropping in, because you never can tell, and we shouldn't just leave our doors wide open, so to speak. So please just take that into consideration. Thank you very much.
You're saying you're for it, Tim? Yes. Is that...
It's not that I'm for or against it. It's just the point of view that people, if you don't have something like that in place, in this day and age with fraud, it's very easy for somebody to be able to go door to door and gather a lot of information on you.
Yep.
And that's all I'm just trying to say. We should just be we should take that into consideration when everyone makes their decisions, because I think that many of us have probably been subject to fraud. It starts somewhere, and we need to be cognizant of that. That's all.
I just want to let the governing body know the purpose of like the next action you're taking. You're not adopting the ordinance. All you're doing is introducing it to further discuss it at the next meeting, and also hear from the public. So you're just reading it into the record for the first time, and then the next meeting you could take time to, table it, hear from the public, and they might have some questions or concerns or suggestions that might table it as well. You're not really adopting the law today. You're advertising it.
Okay.
That's all.
FYI, just so I'm clear, I'm not opposed to tabling. We'll do whatever the mayor and council wants.
No, that's okay. I mean, Anderson explained, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll have time to look into it, whoever needs it, the time.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
you'll withdraw your motion to table?
Yes.
Okay.
So then we would have a motion for the introduction and first reading of ordinance 2026-14, the no-knock policy.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, second by Councilwoman Begatz. On roll call, Councilwoman Begatz?
Yes.
Councilman Liang?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis?
Yes.
Please read the ordinance by title only.
Mayor, the motion passes. Ordinance number 2026-14, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 entitled General Licensing to provide for a no-knock section of the ordinance.
Okay, we need a motion to introduce and advertise ordinance 2026-14 for public hearing in accordance with the law.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begatz. On roll call, Councilwoman Begatz?
Yes.
Councilman Liang?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Kapsaskis?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis?
Yes.
Mayor, the motion passes.
Okay, Mayor, we have next resolutions by consent. On the consent agenda, those are resolutions 2026-183 through
200.
2026-200. We could have a motion to approve them by consent. One motion.
Motion.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just get to the back. Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis and seconded by Councilman Patel.
No.
No? Oh, Councilman Liang, sorry. See, it's hard to hear from this left side sometimes. On roll call, Councilwoman Begatz? Councilman Liang?
Yes.
Councilman Patel?
Recuse from 199.
Okay.
Could approve the rest.
Liquor license.
Recused from, all right, resolution
I believe it was
199. Let me just write this. Res
Yes,
199.
Okay.
Councilman Kapsaskis?
Yes.
Councilman Lee?
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis?
Yes.
Just for the record,
It's a liquor license, yeah.
Councilman Patel is voting in favor of all the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. He said yes to all and
Okay.
recusal on 199.
Wanted to make sure.
For the record. Mayor, now we're on the your appointment.
Okay, now mayor. Okay, appointment. Okay, at this time I would like to make the follow mayor appointment to the film advisory committees. This appointment does not require consent. I am appointing Jane Shinisi as a member of the film advisory committee. Okay, I don't need any.
No, that's it. You're just stating it for the record.
Any old or new business? Anyone want to say? No, old, no business. Okay, I need a motion and second to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay.
A motion by Councilwoman Begatz, second by Councilman Liang. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed and any abstentions? None. Mayor, the meeting is adjourned at 9 p.m.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good meeting.
Okay, that's done.
Our drive.
All right.